right, we are live. We've been live, but it's not the new little. I guess they updated the app. I guess with the different intros. I like
Hmm.
that R&B kind of that R&B sound to it. Um, but how you been? How you been, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Can't complain. You know, a lot of stuff going on. Can't wait to talk about it. So it's another day, another chance to be happy.
Yes, I know we got a lot to talk about. So I guess we can start off with the NFL. I guess we can. I know last Thursday they released first they released the primetime games first, and then Thursday at 8 o'clock last week they uploaded or they posted. They had like a live show of like all 32 teams. So talk about the schedules, man. First, the primetime games. Which ones are you looking out for? Are you looking forward to the international games that the Ravens and Titans played in England? I think Steelers or some other team played in Germany and Munich. Um, so yeah, talk to me about the your reaction on like the overall schedule and then what your team's schedule is.
I think they. I mean, I think they did a pretty good job with the schedule. It's. I mean, look, when it comes to prime time, they can put any two teams on. I'm probably gonna watch, but I do think they have some really good matchups. I think the international games are pretty decent. Um, I mean, the Patriots schedule, it's tough. I believe it's the third. I guess they have like the third highest strength of schedule right now, but we know that that number doesn't really mean much right now because that's based off of last season. So some teams that were really good last season might take a step back, so we won't know until the games are actually played. But their first four games are really difficult. With you start off with the Eagles week one, you get the Cowboys in week four, and then in between those two games you have like the Dolphins and the Bills, I believe. The middle part of their schedules relatively tough. I think the easiest games are probably the Colts game in Germany, the Commanders, and then there's a bunch of games in the middle of the schedule where it could be a toss up. And then they end the schedule really difficult with the Chiefs. I think Bills, they end their season with the Jets. So it's going to be a tough year, but I do think the Patriots are probably better equipped to navigate that schedule this year as opposed to last year. But yeah, I mean, with terms of prime time, I'm intrigued with now we got like Black Friday games. I think the first couple of Monday night weeks we get two games. I think we get like the standard Monday night game, and then there's like a streaming exclusive game that's going on as well. So I'm interested to see how that's received from the NFL fan base because you have some fans that are all about streaming sites. You have some fans that hate it. So I'm sure if you're a fan of one of those teams on one of the streaming sites, you may not be a fan of it. But I just think it's a way to grow the brand because they know more people are going to streaming sites. So why not put games on there periodically? And two Monday night games isn't the worst thing. Gives you an option if the main Monday night game isn't a good game. You have another game you could check out. So I like the schedule. I like what the NFL's done. I like the new rules for prime time where not every team's guaranteed. Some teams could go on there more than once, which I'm assuming would be like the really popular teams. So yeah, I I don't have a problem with any of it. I thought it was pretty well done.
Um, would you ever consider? I know the NFL. Last year they had the Direct TV NFL Sunday Ticket. Are you thinking about this? Find a way to stream them like the out of market games. Are you? Do you plan? I don't think. Does your team have any primetime games? The Patriots.
Hmm. Yeah,
I was.
I think most of theirs are like later in the year, so they could get flexed out. But if the season goes as well as I think it will, I think they'll get a couple at least. I talk about the YouTube
Yeah,
TV
yeah. Are you thinking
Sunday
about
ticket thing.
considering getting the YouTube Sunday Ticket like down the line or?
I am thinking about it. Um,
for this upcoming year? Or just like kind of gonna
yeah,
kind of like wait it out for a little bit.
yeah, I'm thinking about it for this upcoming year. I don't know if I'll get it or not, but it's interesting. I do want to see kind of how YouTube TV handles it. Um, will they have some overlays to go with the games, or what's their presentation going to bring to it? I'm assuming if YouTube TV went that hard to get the package, then they must have some ideas on fan interaction with the games. Have like a fantasy type tab or something like that. Maybe copy what Amazon Prime did with Thursday Night Football, where you could like bring up a window with the stats for the game, fantasy tracking, and all that. So I hope it does well. DirecTV had their height of fandom and popularity, and they've slowly been falling off. So hopefully YouTube TV brings in some more audience.
Right, right.
I mean, I know you talked about like splitting the cost of somebody
Yeah,
or something.
probably with
Like you
my
still
brother,
think about
but
that?
no, so if you're already a YouTube TV like subscriber, is it like a discount or do I get it like it was like $100 off, I think, or is it like something you said? I think you said like
That's a good question
because I
because
think you
the
said
price
before
I see,
June
yeah,
or
before
something like
June you get
that.
$100 off.
Yeah,
Before June 6th, you get $100 off. But most of the prices I've seen are for like the Sunday ticket and YouTube TV together. So I don't know if you have YouTube TV. What's then the price to add the Sunday ticket part to it? That part I don't know.
right. Oh, yeah, Kyle, by the way, at the top of like the thing it says upload progress is keeps on bouncing. That's like 65%. I don't know why it's up when
I,
when you stream. Does it say upload or whatever like at the top?
well, I think since they did the update, I haven't streamed anything yet, so I don't
It's
know.
like it's like at like 98% and it go back to 60. It's like bouncing back and forth. That's kind of weird.
I'm assuming it's just like uploading as you're recording, so it'll keep bouncing up like that. So that's something I can think of. I don't think it's that big of an issue.
Oh, okay,
I just
okay.
think it's something for you to keep track of. Yeah,
Now I have like
probably just some
63%.
added.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's just some added
It's
little
definitely a new
stat
look
thing.
to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I'm excited. I mean, let me see if I can pull up the NFL schedule so we can just pull up that graphic. NFL. Okay, prime. So first we'll do the NFL primetime games. Um, first.
Mm-hmm. It's probably easier to do them separately. Like look up Sunday Night Football, Monday Night, Thursday night. You'll get a graphic that'll show all those first. To do all the primetime games, I don't think there's really going to be a set image for that.
Gosh, um, on this website it says that so. Well, the first. Well, the
I mean,
first. Well, the first.
I have
Well,
Sunday Night Football pulled up. I can share that
well,
one.
the first Monday Night Football game that's Eagles and Chiefs, right? That's the opening. No, that's week 11. They said what? Yeah,
That's
yeah. If you want to
the
pull that up,
all right. So you want to do Monday Night Football first?
yeah, you can do that.
All right, I'll bring that up. Hold on, hold on. Uh, so it says it's sharing. Yeah, there you go. So that's the
All
Monday
right.
Night Football schedule.
So I mean, as we go on, I guess you can be responsible for like pulling up the each
Yeah,
prompt because I don't know how to. If you
I got them ready.
all right, so we have the this is the Monday night primetime games for the 2023 season, right?
Yep.
So we're looking at on September 11th, Bills versus Jets. Just have a new quarterback in town, Aaron Rodgers. So obviously they're gonna get that
Oh
first, slot. September 18th, we have the New Orleans Saints versus the Carolina Panthers, and we have two games on the 18th. Browns and Steelers.
yeah.
Is that always like that, or is it
No, they're trying something new.
they're doubling up on some
Yeah,
games?
so Saints Panthers will be ESPN, Browns Steelers will be on ABC.
Gosh, oh, so there's gonna be more football. September 5th, Eagles and Buccaneers and then Eagles versus Buccaneers, and then LA versus Bengals, a Super Bowl matchup from 2 years ago. October 1st, Atlanta Falcons versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So that's a London
Is that
game.
the London game?
Yeah, so that one's gonna be on ESPN.
So we have two games back to back, or like on the second too.
So the second is the Monday, the first is the Sunday. This just included on here because I think ESPN just did it.
Maybe it's just like the
Yeah, ESPN
yeah.
just did it to just show all their primetime games.
And then we have Seahawks versus Giants on October 2nd, Monday Night Football. Then we have Green Bay Raiders. October 16th, we have Dallas Cowboys versus LA Chargers. October 23rd, we have San Francisco 49ers versus the Minnesota Vikings. October 30th, we have Raiders versus Lions. November 6th, we have Chargers versus Jets. The Chargers have a couple. No, Chargers have two. I refuse the LA teams. November 13th, we have Broncos versus Bills. That's gonna be a good game because Sean Payton, he's the new head coach, and who knows how Russell Wilson would be, you know, deep into that because they're on week 11, week 10.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Philly versus Chiefs, November 20th. That is the prime time game that everyone wants to see the Super Bowl rematch. On the week 11th, we had the 27th. Like this is the day before Thanksgiving. Is this Thanksgiving?
No, that's the Monday after.
So who plays on Thanksgiving? Do they have those on there? That'd be Sunday night.
That'd be the Thursday
Oh,
nights.
Thursday night. Right,
Yeah,
right, right. So we have Chicago, Minnesota. On week 12, December 4th, we have Bengals versus Jaguars. December 11th, we have Titans versus Miami. And then we have a back-to-back game, Green Bay versus Giants. December 18th, we have your team versus the Chiefs. Then my team on Christmas. We have Baltimore versus 49ers. Super Bowl matchup back from like 2012, 2013. And then we have December 30th, Lions versus Cowboys. That's a couple good games I'm looking forward to. Definitely the Ravens 49ers game. Definitely your team versus Kansas City. I'm looking forward to the I'm looking forward to hmm.
I mean, well,
I'm looking forward to that Super Bowl matchup. To be honest,
there's a few interesting games on here. Panthers Saints would not have thought, week 2 that might have been a Monday night game that the probably average fan would think of, but you get to see Bryce Young, get to see Derek Carr with his new team. So I think, I mean, I'm okay with that choice because I think, like I said, those are two teams that maybe you're not paying a lot of attention to because the Saints didn't make a lot of noise in the offseason. But now you'll look at this and be like, oh, yeah, Derek Carr's there. And for Bryce Young, I think everybody wants to see what Bryce Young looks like in a Panthers uniform. I mean, I've seen the video of him at training camp standing behind the offensive line, and he looks tiny. But I just want to see, like, live action, like, how he looks. Some other interest. I mean, Jordan Love with Green Bay versus the Raiders, he's getting a primetime game. So hopefully by then he's gained the confidence of being the number one guy. Because I'm assuming to start the year he'll probably struggle a little bit because he's now being tabbed as the guy in Green Bay. So he's going to have some rust on him. But by week 5, he should be playing much better. And I mean, Jimmy G, will he be healthy by then? We know he has his injury history. Um, week 9, Chargers versus the Jets, Herbert versus Aaron Rodgers. I think those are two guys that the media really wants to see do well. So that game could be a shootout, or maybe one of those odd games in the season becomes like a defensive battle. But I think that could be a really good game. Same thing, Bengals Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow. Interesting matchup there. But yeah.
I mean, as a Ravens fan, I would say Browns and Steelers because like we're gonna see like a, since Washington's gonna be playing a full year, we can see what he looks like against the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
I know they got Joey Porter Jr. on the Steelers, and they got I don't know who the Browns got any new additions, but we're gonna see a full game of Washington versus Steelers. I mean that might be exciting. But I like how the NFL like doubled up on some games. Like pretty nice. Like it's more football. Like instead of just one prime time game on Monday, and then I know the NFL said they're gonna have two Thursday prime time games on Amazon Prime to kind of get more eyes because they know like last year's with the matchups they're kind of like subpar. Like they have the Chargers versus the Chiefs, and the Chiefs blew them out. Broncos were there on Thursday night a lot, and Russell Wilson struggled. But I guess he gets the chance to redeem himself on Monday Night Football with against the Bills. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to see that the NFL is kind of implementing more games on like prime time. So it's kind of like the NBA, how like they have a couple. Well, I guess playoff time. I guess they have, or during the season they have like double headers, like one game at like on the East Coast at like 7, then one game at 10. Or so I'm assuming what's like so would the Saints Panthers be an early game and then Bengals or Browns and Steelers be like the late game or just
I believe they're probably going to be around the same time. One game
at
might
the same
start like
time?
8, one might start 8:30. That's the way I think they're doing it. I'd have to look it up and see what the actual times are for that game. But
Oh yeah, because they are out right now, right?
yeah,
Like
the times
the
should be
times.
available. Um, yeah, let me go. ESPN probably has the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with
Yeah.
NFL, it'd be tough to do like Saints Panthers at like I don't know, because if you're that game's in, I think that game's in Carolina. Then the next game's in Pittsburgh. So those are two East Coast cities.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think the plan is to have them kind of running the
At
same
the
time.
same
So I guess
time.
you just be like flipping back and forth. One goes to commercial. Oh, let me check out what's going on in the other game. Go there. Let me check out the other game. One game turns
Yeah.
into a blowout. Then you
I'm
just go
pretty
to
sure
the
people
other
want to
one.
see like Bryce Young, see how he looks like. So I'm pretty sure people are gonna have more eyes on that game. And then plus you like you said, Derek Carr's with the Saints now, so
Mm-hmm. It's, okay, that's weird because that's week 2. I was looking at week 1. Come on, say ESPN only listed one game. All right, so yeah, Saints, Panthers is at 7:15. Cleveland, Pittsburgh is at 8:15. So they will be
it's
running.
like it's like an hour.
Yeah, so it's an hour difference. So you'll probably get first quarter and a half of Carolina. Then the next game will start up, and
I like
yeah.
that idea. It's more football to watch.
Mm-hmm. No, some
All right,
some people aren't gonna like it because I've already heard some people who hate having the two games going on kind of at the same time.
I get that, but man,
I mean, you're not gonna please everybody, so you might as well just try and see what happens with ratings. If the ratings suffer for one of the games, then they probably will do away with it. If the ratings on both games are really good, I wouldn't be surprised if next year you probably see them do it for a few more weeks. Who knows? Maybe we get to the point where every week there's two games. Maybe
that'd be
that'd be a
sick.
way to get away. That might be a way to get away from Thursday night. If you just do a second Monday night game each week, I don't know.
Hmm. That's interesting. All right, so do you have the Sunday night schedule pulled up?
Yeah.
Let me just pull this down.
So Sunday night, the Sunday night graphic is wild. Just to let you know, it's like neon and stuff, and I don't know. I guess because most of those games they use like the color rush uniform, so I guess that's why they did it with this. But yeah, I got it pulled up.
Okay.
Oh, I'd have to share it again. Hold on.
Yeah. I guess.
All right, there we go. Yeah, this graphic is wild. Yeah. There.
All right. So we have the Sunday night schedule for the 2023 season. So we have the NFL kickoff game of the year. We have the Detroit Lions versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not sure if that's week one or just like the inaugural start of the
That's the
season.
opening Thursday night, but it's not a Thursday night game because Thursday night games don't start till week 2. So this one counts as a Sunday night broadcast because it's on NBC.
Got you. So week one, Cowboys Giants. In week two, we have Miami Patriots. So that's gonna be a good one. Divisional game. Start off the bat. Steelers and Raiders week three. Kansas City versus the Jets on week four. Week five, we have Cowboys versus Giants, or Cowboys versus the Niners. Giants versus Bills week six. Let's see if Daniel is going to rush for 1,400 yards this season. Freddie. I got another. Oh no, Miami versus Eagles week seven. Week eight, we have Chicago and Chargers. Week nine, we have Bills. The last game of the season that unfortunately got stopped for DeMar Hamlin. We're going to see that matchup again week eight, week nine. Week 10, we have Jets and Raiders. Week 11, we have Vikings Broncos. The Thanksgiving game, there it is. Niners versus Seahawks. I thought Cowboys would play on Thanksgiving too.
That might be a Thursday night football schedule game.
Hmm. Week 12, we have a couple Sunday night football games. We have Ravens Chargers. Start week 12. I think your team is like my team. Like we have the London game against the Titans, and then we have our our primetime games kind of towards the end of the season too. So kind of like your team, like you said. Um, Kansas City versus Green Bay week 13. Week 14 we have a divisional game. Week 14 Philly versus Cowboys. Week 15 we have Jacksonville versus Ravens. Bengals versus Steelers week 16. Another divisional game. And the next week, following week, Bills and Chargers, and then week 17, Green Bay and Vikings, another divisional game, and the week 18 is TBD. I guess is a flex schedule. So any reactions to the teams that you are looking forward to Sunday night?
I'm I'm between Sunday night and we just saw a Monday night. It's good to see the Bears are on there a couple of times because I do think the Bears will be better this year than last year, at least hopefully. Green Bay has gotten they have 2 games on here. They had I think a couple of games on Monday night, so Jordan Love's going to get some exposure. But I mean, his schedule's dominated by most of the big brands. You know, the Chiefs are on here a couple times, Cowboys on here a few times, the Eagles with the Ravens. So yeah, Niners, Dolphins. So I mean, I think there's some really good games. I like all the divisional games because divisional games usually are competitive. You know, the Week 9 Bills Bengals rematch. Love to see that game since we didn't get it like you said last season. Um, yeah, the last couple of weeks, you know, Green Bay, Minnesota. I mean, most people assume Minnesota takes a step back. I'm not really sure who's the second best team in that division. I would say the Lions probably, but with that game in Week 17, I think the schedule makers think Jordan Love might have Green Bay in a position for a playoff spot. So maybe Week 17 isn't necessarily for the division, but both teams might need it to make the playoffs. So I think that's really good. Bills Chargers would be same
Yeah, I
thing.
like
Those are
how
two
Jordan
teams that
Love's
should be.
getting that exposure.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with
yeah.
that.
Why not? I mean, Green Bay is a popular brand around the country, and a lot of people will be tuning in to see. I mean, Week 13 is the first time he's on Sunday night, and then Week 17 he'll be he should be playing his best football at the end of the season. And who knows? Maybe Green Bay fans will be looking at it like Aaron Rodgers. Who? Maybe they'll be like, we spent too many years on Aaron Rodgers. We should have done this earlier. I'm interested to see where the Jets and the Packers are at the end of the season. Like who's doing better or worse, and see how that trade works out. Yeah, a lot of good games on here.
Right. So we had Monday night, then we had the Sunday night. I think the last thing is Thursday night, right? The primetime Thursday
Yep.
night games. All right, let me stop this stream.
All right.
My handyman, man, give it to Kyle Edwards, man.
Yep. Yeah, I got it pulled up now, so
The production guy.
I mean, I'm doing what I can.
All right, here we go. It's a little clearer because I don't want to get that with neon.
Yeah, it was neon.
But I mean, it was all right.
It was wild.
All right. So the 2023 schedule, don't miss a snap. Prime, Amazon Prime. So we have September 14th. We have the first game, Minnesota versus Eagles, NFC conference game. Then we have Giants and 49ers. Then we have Detroit and Green Bay, Chicago and Commanders. The Broncos and Chiefs, week 6. Week 7, we have the Jaguars versus Saints. Week 8, we have Buccaneers, Bills, Titans, Steelers. Week 9. Week 10, we have Panthers versus Chicago. That's gonna be a good one. Bryce Young versus Justin Fields. Bryce Young, I'm not sure who his receivers are that he has, but I know Chicago traded for DJ Moore. That's going to be a good game. And then we got Bengals, and I didn't know they had a Thursday night game. That's going to be a good one. Bengals Ravens. I think that's the game that everyone. Well, that's a better game than what last year's. More entertaining divisional rivals on Thursday night football. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know we had a Thursday night. I thought we had Sunday night, Monday night. But one day we had the England trip. Boy, is that gonna be on TV? Like, is that gonna be on since it's in England? Is that gonna be like a primetime game for?
It'll just
It should be right.
It'll be like 9:30 on Sunday morning. It'll be, I think, most likely Fox game. I think.
A Fox game.
I think Fox. Right. Yeah, I think Fox usually shows the London games.
Well, didn't
it'll be on TV. It'll be either Fox or CBS.
Didn't the NFL say, "Oh, no team is fair," or no channel is fair game? Like anyone can carry a game.
That was more about. That was more like conference. That's more about the conference because usually CBS shows AFC games, Fox shows NFC. They're just doing away with that. Now you'll get NFC games on Fox or CBS, which basically to make sure that the better games from that week are on the networks. Because a lot of times it'd be a couple of weeks, maybe the NFC games are much better than the AFC, but they don't want it to do that because if you're in an area where maybe you only get the AFC game for that week because the NFC one is blacked out or something, or it's not part of your doubleheader coverage, you might get stuck with a dud of a game, and they don't want that to happen anymore.
Right. So after that, we had the NFL implemented a Black Friday game, the Jets in Miami. So that's the first Friday game.
Yeah. So I did look that up because Thursday Night Football doesn't count for Thanksgiving. because the Thanksgiving Day games are Packers Lions at 12:30, Commanders Cowboys at 4:30, and then Niners Seahawks 8:20. So from these graphics we put up, only the Niners Seahawks game counted as a primetime game, so we didn't get to see what the other two games were. But those are the Commanders Cowboys and Lions Packers.
All right. And we have week week 13. We have Seahawks Cowboys. Your Patriots versus Steelers on the 7th or December 7th, week 14. Chargers versus Raiders. Saints versus LA. Saints got a lot of primetime games, man, with Derek Carr in town, and then Jets and Browns get to play on Thursday night to wrap up the Thursday night game. So yeah, I mean this is a stacked schedule, like primetime games. And obviously we're not even talking about like the just the basic, Ravens Patriots schedule, like this are individual schedules. Um I know we opened up the season with against the Texans. So Bryce Young, or not Bryce Young, CJ Stroud run into our defense. That'll be our first big test for CJ Stroud and the new look team with D'Amico Ryan's in town. I'm not sure what if that's a home game for us or an away game. I'm pretty sure it's home, but this should be a good game. That's a kind of prime time game, but definitely that's a season opener for us. I know we have obviously the London game, and then we have obviously our divisional games with Steelers, Browns, Bengals. I know your team is looking forward to the Jets. I mean, Bills, Miami. With Miami getting Ramsey from the LA.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of exciting games. So I guess that going into our next segment into the NFL, like what, like early. Well, I don't know what I meant by early season predictions. I guess which teams take a step back, which teams take a step forward, in your opinion. Um, like what teams do you see making a stride, and what teams do you see taking a step back?
Um, I think a team that's probably being underrated might be the Bucks. I don't think the Bucks will be necessarily as terrible as some people think. I know Baker Mayfield's their quarterback. We know Baker Mayfield is a guy who can be kind of the butt of the joke a lot of times for quarterback play, but I think you give him Mike Evans, you give him Chris Godwin. I think he can put up some numbers in Tampa Bay. So I think they'll be better than people think. I think a team that's being overrated are the Jets. Maybe that's the Patriots fandom in me, but let's be real. Just because you bring in Aaron Rodgers doesn't make you a Super Bowl team where a lot of people think the Jets are now the favorites in the AFC. I do not. So I think that's a team that's being overrated because, look, Rodgers has put up numbers in the regular season, but then when it comes down to the postseason, he's come up small recently. And we know that's not like he could get away with that in Green Bay because the media market there, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. If he struggles at any point in New York, that New York media is going to get on him. And we're going to have to see how Rodgers reacts to that. He can't do his whole all relax stuff. It's New York. They're not going to relax because Jets fans know that division is going to be tough. If you're dropping easy games early on, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt at the end of the season. So I think they'll be worse off than people think. What were the other questions? Was kind of said.
So yeah, it was like what teams make a step forward, what teams make a step back. So I would say it seems like a team that might make a step forward is, I would say, um I know Minnesota made the playoffs, but I feel like with the new addition of Jordan Addison,
Mm-hmm.
and then with him with him pairing up with Justin Jefferson, I feel like that duo would be scary because obviously Jefferson's like one of the top five receivers in the league. Like that's that was last year, and
Hmm.
with Jordan Addison's leaping ability and his catch rate and his speed, him paired up with Justin is scary. I mean, I was gonna lead to my other segment, like what is the best new what who's going to be the best receiving core. But I I think Minnesota will take a step forward in that aspect because like obviously that gets causes more targets to throw to. Obviously, Jordan might not be the best receiver week 1 or week 2, but it takes time to get adjusted to the system and
Hmm.
playing with Justin Jefferson. I'm pretty sure he will be Addison's mentor. I know they shipped away Thielen, so he's going. I think he went to the Detroit, I believe.
No, he's in Carolina.
Oh, Carolina. Okay. Oh, so yeah, that's a good piece for Bryce Young to throw too.
Yeah.
Um, I think to take a step back, I might. This might be the Ravens than me, but I think the Browns, because they might lose Clowney. I mean they still have Miles Garrett, but I mean that AFC,
But I
that
mean, let's be honest. Clowney's NFL career has been underwhelming for all the hype he had coming into
yeah,
the league. So I
it
don't I don't
has,
think that's that big of
but
a
and
loss
I
necessarily.
think Browns like receiving corps. I mean I know they have Mari Cooper and they have Donovan Peoples Jones.
Hmm.
But I with the whole with the AFC North stacked up with the Ravens and Bengals and Steelers. I mean, they got a couple good pieces, but the Browns will Deshaun Watson be the Watson of old, or with him taking like that with him be suspended for like 11 games. I mean, obviously he had the whole offseason to get right, a
Hmm.
full offseason, but they might take a step back. I mean, because they really haven't invested in their receiving corps other than when they got a Mark Cooper. So they might take a step back. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that. I mean, I don't know if you agree with the Browns, but I mean,
I think the Browns are gonna be better than people think
think so.
because if
I know they got Chubb still and like Kareem Hunt, but
yeah, but even with their receiver play, Deshaun Watson put up good numbers in Houston, and their receivers weren't necessarily top notch. The Cleveland Browns are just banking on an offseason with Deshaun Watson. He comes back, he plays better, the team will be better. That's what their hope is. Because they could have done all they wanted in the offseason, but if Deshaun Watson still isn't right, what benefit would it be? But I think Watson will be better. I don't know if he'll be back to Houston Texan form, but he'll be better than he looked last season, I believe. And I think that's good enough to get them maybe. I think they should. I think the Browns will actually be in the playoff hunt this year as a wild card team.
the wild card team.
And then even for the Vikings, for them to take a step forward, like that means they have to win a playoff game. Until Kirk Cousins gets past this whole prime time issue that he has, I don't know if I could fully trust that. So I guess for your list, I'd probably swap it. I could see the Vikings taking a step back
The
because
Browns
I don't
gonna
think
take.
they're going to win. I don't think they're going to win 12, 13 games in the regular season. I don't think they will. Maybe they will and completely make me look like terrible for that take, but I think the rest of the division's better this year, so it's gonna be harder for the Vikings to get to that win total. And then for Cleveland, I think they take a step forward, like I said, because I think Watson will be better than last year.
Yes, that's pretty. That's pretty fair to say. So yeah, I guess we can lead to our next segment. The like who has the best new revamped core ever receiver. Obviously, we talked about Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
Hmm.
You have Jess. You have Alan Lazard, Garrett Wilson, and is Cobb on the team now? I don't know, but
Who Cobb? Yeah, I think they signed him. I think they signed him like a couple of weeks ago.
Ravens got OBJ, Zay Flowers, and a new healthy Bateman. Um, who else got Ravens? Oh, I mean, I guess we can say DJ Metcalf and Jackson Jigma. I would that be a duo, but I'm saying I don't know.
That's not Lockett.
Lockett. Let's see what other any receiver course because Bengals didn't really upgrade that Jamar Chase and Higgins, so it's not really like the same. And Boyd, so they don't really have the same.
Yeah.
Um, well, I guess the Patriots. I guess they got. Well, who would be his partner? I guess Juju Smith.
Got Juju, Parker, and I'd probably say Bourne at this point will probably be the top three.
That don't really excite me, man. I'm like, who's Bourne?
Because you don't watch Patriots football. Kendrick Bourne is a pretty good player.
Oh, I mean, I just don't. Kendrick Bourne, it's like, oh wow, he's the top 10. I mean, but we got a good addition of Juju Smith, big body receiver. Hopefully, Belichick will keep him off TikTok for once.
I don't think Belichick cares about TikTok. Belichick might not even know what TikTok is, to be honest with you.
I mean, I think that I'll be excited to see what our core does with Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham. You know, obviously, I think Odell's like 6'3", he's a big body receiver. But then again, it's all about health. I mean, they signed Lamar Jackson to a contract. Then if Bailey can come back healthy, that core can be scary. With the new addition of Todd Monken in town. Yeah, and Mark Andrews too. I forgot the tight end. I mean, so and Lakely for the backup. So he's still young. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for. Obviously, I'm a homer for this, but I'm excited for to see what Zay Flowers has in store for us. I'm either one at Addison or Zay Flowers, and I pick Zay Flowers. So it's going to be one of the two that were available. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be scary, man. But I'm excited for the football season as in general. Like, I know we're in the NBA playoff third round, Eastern Conference Finals now, but once that ends, that's all we have is like baseball to watch until like football comes around. I know hockey's going on right now, but yeah. So who's your who do you think is going to be the best receiver core in the league, or like your prediction?
Well, I like Minnesota's. I like Addison with Jefferson. I like Hawkinson at tight end. Trying to think of other ones. Like a lot of the good receiving cores have kind of been around,
right?
Because I think the Dolphins receiving core is going to have another good year.
Tyreek Hill and Waddle,
yeah. Trying to see some other ones.
Yeah, like AJ Brown with Smith, like they're already like they've been in so with the Eagles.
A lot of them have been together for a while. I'm interested to see Jackson Smith and Jigba playing off of Lockett and DK Metcalf, because I think Jackson Smith can probably work the middle of the field. DK Metcalf is a boundary receiver. Lockett kind of goes all over the place. He kind of plays over the middle of the field as well. So I want to see how they line those guys up. Do they put maybe Lockett inside of Metcalf, put JSN on the other side, because JSN can work on the outside as well. So I want to see how they line those three up, because with Geno Smith in his resurgent year last year, if those three get it clicking, like Geno Smith could have another really good year. And the Seahawks, they just missed the playoffs last year. I think they could be in a position again this year to make the playoffs. And having those three together, maybe that gets them the extra win that they need to get in. Because once again, that division, you don't know what you're getting from the Rams because a lot of questions with Stafford's health, the pieces around Stafford offensively. The Cardinals, we know the Cardinals have all their issues. Kyler Murray's going to miss a lot of time this year. Only team you got to worry about is the Niners, and even with the Niners, they have their own questions at quarterback. Can Brock Purdy duplicate what he did last year? Now that people know the type of player he is, does Trey Lance step up, take that job? I don't know. So who knows? Maybe the Seahawks are a surprise winner of that division next year.
Yeah, I mean, that can be that'd be yeah. I'm trying to see what that does too. How he runs off of Metcalf and Lockett. That's gonna be a good one. A good duo too. Jackson Smith and Jim. He's another big body receiver who can go get it. And I know he kind of didn't play at Ohio State because due to injury, but obviously
that's something he'll have to get over because Gene talks about that a lot about him missing basically the whole year with a hamstring injury. I'm pretty sure Seahawks fans wouldn't want to see something like that. So if it's a mental thing, because I have seen that with other athletes where if they don't feel 100%, then they don't feel like they can play. And I don't know if JSN's that because this is just in college. He could have matured from that, but that's definitely going to be a storyline with him if he ends up missing games with another soft tissue type injury like that. People might start questioning durability, but he's in the NFL now. I think the Ohio State slate is like clean from him. He gets a fresh start to create a new narrative.
I do agree with that. So the last topic for the NFL is I don't know if you heard about it. The Bills punter, Matt Ariza.
I remember that story.
Now I kind of agree with Gene because on his, I think on the Thursday, or it was either his Wire or the show when you're on. I mean, I get the whole in the courts, you're proven until you're innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah. Looks like George.
I'm not sure what happened.
Oh, yeah.
I am not sure what happened. So sorry if y'all didn't hear that. I know. So I'm all for a person who is allegedly, I guess, accused of doing something. I'm all for the innocent proven guilty aspects, but this story is kind of messed up because at first, I mean, obviously Matt Ariza, he was a former Bills punter, and I guess the girl he was with accused him of sexual assault, I think, and at first, there was a report saying that he touched her without consent or without her consent. But to kind of find out, obviously the courts have done their investigation. And come to find out that the girl, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, the girl came out and said that Matt wasn't even, or it came out that Matt wasn't even in the vicinity or the area of her, you know what I'm saying? And hey, I get it. I know this is a sensible topic, very sensitive topic, but I know sexual assault is very serious. I take that very, very heavily. It's wrong, especially without consent. But this man is out of a job because of a girl that made false accusations on him. And these are serious allegations. It's kind of like the Deshaun Watson case. Obviously, he wasn't guilty of anything, but obviously he had that reputation as a girl massages. I, I don't know how you say it, like a woman toucher, I guess. And it's crazy. And when I first saw the story, I was like, okay, man, this dude's creepy, man. But obviously, behind the scenes, they did the law, like they went to the courts, and I think that like Key Williams, the girl in our group chat, Jory Williams, and I think Gene, a lot of people, and maybe you agree that I think that girls should. I think it's going to go to civil court. I think Eraser should the money get money from her, or maybe she should pay. A lot of people on Twitter and Facebook say that she should pay restitution for all the time that he's missed in the NFL. Because obviously with these allegations, and I think Key said she should go to jail because, obviously you wanted to tear down.
Technically, it's a false report.
It's a false report.
Yeah. I think perfect world. Yeah, she probably would go to jail. In the world that we're in, I highly doubt that. This is a thing that's kind of been always a problem, because if a woman makes a claim of sexual assault, rape, domestic abuse, you name it, the automatic initial thought is going to be the guy's guilty, he deserves to go to jail. So because of that, look, the Bills made their decision because, one, you don't want that distraction week in and week out. If he's on your team, if he doesn't play or whatever, first question is going to be, is he not playing because of the investigation? What are you guys going to do about the whole allegation stuff? You'll have, women's rights groups outside of your stadium talking about, we don't want this sexual assaulter on our team and all that. And teams don't want to deal with that. We've seen that several occasions. I think for Matt Reza at this point, if all he gets out of it is a second chance at the NFL, he should probably just take that. Because I don't know.
Most athletes don't get a second chance.
I don't know. I don't know what court's necessarily going to sit there and be like, "Oh, look, you falsely accused them. Now you're going to give them all this money or whatever." I don't know what's going to come of that. I would think they should do something to her, because for the next woman or whatever who might be thinking about hatching a plan like this to take somebody down, if they see the consequences in this case, maybe they think about it real quick and like, maybe I shouldn't do this because I want to get in all this trouble and all that. Because there are certain people who, if you make it famous, they want to tear you down, and they'll try whatever they can to do that. And that's what this case apparently looks like. I hate seeing stuff like this, because it's like, then when women actually go through sexual assault and domestic abuse, people will be hesitant. In terms of dealing with an athlete, they'll be like, well, what if she's just trying to do what this girl did to Matt Araiza? Or should we really believe this, or whatever? And it could be a serious thing, but people don't think about that when they try little stunts like this. So I hope he gets a second chance, I guess, and hopefully learns from it. Kind of like we talked about with John Morant. When stuff like this happens to you, you have to grow from it. So
if you get to that, man, but best believe that.
But I'm just saying, like, if for Matt, it's like, she did this. Now he doesn't like hang around those circles as much because he doesn't want to put himself in that situation again. Then that's all you can ask for. But yeah, I definitely think he probably ends up punting somewhere. I don't know. It might be like in the season we'll probably get some, ESPN breaking news, like some team signs him if like a punter gets hurt or something like that. 'Cause I think at this point, most teams have a decent idea of who their punter is. Maybe he gets invited to a training camp just to show what he has. So I don't know. I don't get why people make up stuff like that. Like I don't know. So let's say like he dumped her or something. And she just want to get back at him. You couldn't think of another way to do it. Like
Yeah. So
I'm assuming she probably thought nobody would find out he didn't actually do it. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in people's heads.
So whoever is viewing this, I mean, it's from the Yahoo Sports article. So it's kind of it's not graphic, but it's like viewer discretion is advised. So once inside, Ariza threw the girl onto the bed face first. The lawsuit read. The girl went in and out of the continents while suffering through the horrific gang rape. It lasted an hour and a half, the lawsuit read, before she stumbled out of the room bloody and crying, in part because multiple piercings had ripped through the skin during the attack. Within days, the Bills cut Ariza, and due to his record-breaking NCAA career in the 80-yard punt, we just think it's the best move for everyone to move on from that and let him take care of the situation. Buffalo manager Brandon Bean said. A fuller picture of what police and prosecutors found, however, is now available via a 200-plus page transcript being by Yahoo Sports of a 100-minute meeting when a deputy district attorney offered a detailed explanation to the girl and her attorneys. He wasn't, and I quote from the attorney, he wasn't even at the party anymore, Deputy District Attorney Trisha Amandor explained later. All I know is that at that point, suspect Arazia is gone from the party. Additionally, prosecutors told the girl that the video recordings of the incident in the bedroom made it impossible to determine, let alone prosecute anyone, whether there was a gang rape at all that night, rather than consider sex with other men. And looking at the videos on the tape, I absolutely cannot prove any foreseeable sexual assault based upon what happened. The accused, of course, the accused attorney, Dan Gillian, cannot be reached for comment. In a statement to Fox Digital Sports, Gillian said his client won't be bullied into dropping the civil lawsuit. It's not going to happen. This case is going to trial, and will force Ariza to talk. It's not a back and forth. A witness who was in the house gave a statement saying that at one point in the party that you made a statement telling people at the party you were 18. Another witness at the party, a different one, said that they especially heard you say you were 18. There was additional evidence cited by Amador from a recording from a party that night before at a different residence in which the girl says on camera that she is 18. The civil lawsuit alleged that soon after the girls were arrived at the party, she was separated from her friends, and Arazia led her over to the side yard of the house where he told to perform. Arazia, however, he has also maintained that he never led her into a private area of the backyard, that she walked back there while he was urinating. So I don't know. This is whole like back and forth, but I mean they found that he wasn't even in the area, so it's like it comes down to a boy who cried wolf. Like, how many times you're gonna tell these lies where you have witnesses saying that the guy wasn't there at the time, you have their attorney saying that he wasn't there at the time, and the tapes or whatever in the video doesn't really line up with like her starting the story. So that's great for this modern day because we have video and evidence and stuff and to prove someone's innocent. And like you said, obviously the Bills took it heavily that's how they released them because they don't because it was true they don't want that kind of cancer in their locker room where if he did have sexual relationship with this girl not consent, then obviously that's a big deal. But now the case has gone through the court. There is a 200-page document about what has happened and transpired, and they have found that he was not in the area where the girl said he was, or in the vicinity. So, I'm not sure if the trial was done yet, or I think it is done. Because obviously he was proven innocent. I think I'm not right about. I don't know if I'm right about that, but it just comes to find out that he was not from the beginning. He's always saying that he was not a part of it, and he wasn't even in the. I mean, I know there's gonna be drinking and smoking and everything. This is how parties are. So maybe he said, she said, but in the court of law, I mean, he's innocent, and he right now he's out of a job right now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. It's just like, it's just. I mean, if it praise to God, if it happened, it's terrible. But just to come to find out that the girl lied, it's just kind of like heartbreaking because he's out of a job. So, and don't get me wrong, like I take like sexual assault and rape all that seriously. If you do it, it's a terrible thing, especially with these athletes, But I'm all for, like I said in the beginning of the segment, that I'm all about innocent until proven guilty. And in this case, Matt is proven innocent, and we'll see what happens to the girl. Apparently, her attorney won't come out into the media and say anything about it. I'm pretty sure they're kind of like distraught because maybe she didn't know what was happening. Um, and we'll see what happens. But as far as we know, as far as me, that he's innocent right now. So I'm curious to see how this goes forward and how this case proceeds, and if he's going to get another job or another second chance, or he's going to get some money out of this. I think the girl should pay money, pay restitution, whatever, because
I think there's a way around it because based off the account that she gave, she was thrown down in and out of consciousness. So for all we know, because even as you read it, he said he was like outside with her, and that was like the last time he was with her.
Right.
So for her being in and out of consciousness when she told the story, she could have just placed him there because she remembered being outside with him. I feel like her attorney could just harp on the fact that it was a traumatic experience, in and out of consciousness, so she mistakenly placed him at the scene of the crime. I feel like the court and a jury would be sympathetic to that because it doesn't say like this event didn't happen to her. All it's saying is that
right. I'm not saying that he wasn't
right. So
part of it. So
the fact that she went through it, they may feel sympathy and be like, look, maybe she gets like I don't even know what kind of sentence they would bring down, but I don't think it's gonna be something necessarily where he gets like a big settlement or something like that. I just think it'll just be my bad.
Like I'm not saying like for the viewers that are watching, I'm not saying like it didn't happen, like there whatever happened, because she was unconscious and she was in and out of consciousness. But I'm saying like I'm sorry if it did happen, but like you said, like he was out there urinating, I guess, and the last time that he was out there with her, that was the last time that he dipped out or went to another part of the house or with his friends, whatever. He wasn't even part of that group. So if it did happen, it happened. But maybe she was the last. Maybe she was the last, or he was the last one that she saw. And
right.
she was kind of like conscious.
Yeah, she probably assumed.
I was like, oh, that's Matt. Matt did it.
Yeah, she probably assumed like maybe he was behind all of this, and that's why, she was led into the room or whatever, and that happened. Which, like I said, I guess I could understand that.
Yeah.
But like you said, for Matt's case, if he was legitimately innocent, then it cost him his chance to play for Buffalo. Because if I'm Buffalo and I read that, the transcript from her or her account of the event, I'd be like, yeah.
What happened, man?
Yeah. Yeah, like once you read that account of the events, it's like, yeah, Matt. I'm sure they called him into the room, was like, look, based off of the investigation you're going through, we gotta let you go. I'm assuming Matt was probably like, yeah, I get it, because that's not the attention you want, and the other players don't want that around them as well. I think I saw the other day that there are some teams like thinking about bringing him in for camp.
Yeah, I saw the Cardinals or one of them.
Right. So hey, during training camp, we'll probably hear something about him signing somewhere, and then now it's just going to be up to him to outperform whoever's in
But like,
camp
it's
with
just
him.
like I just like look at it like for a family aspect, like a girl's kind of take your reputation down. Your family kind of like looks at you like a different way before like he got proven innocent. Like your friends kind of think like, oh wow, you did this, and kind of found out you didn't do it. Like it's like
That might depend. If his friends are the witnesses that have been saying the whole time that he wasn't there, I don't think it really changes his relationship with him. I'm assuming he told his family time and time again, like, I didn't do it, wasn't there. So I don't think in that aspect it's probably affected too much. There might be a couple of family members who might be looking at him a certain way, but I think the only way he really takes that type of hit is if it's something where he was there and it's like this big cover up to protect him. Then I could see some like infighting amongst friends and family. But if he's legitimately innocent of this, I think he's fine. It's just a little delay on his NFL career.
got you. So I mean, I think that wraps up the NFL segment part of the show. We're coming up almost on an hour 20, so we're gonna focus on the NBA. I do want to get the story out the way, John Moran, before we get into the playoffs, because obviously it's the top story again for the wrong reasons. Um, he wants to go first. You wanted me to go first, or you want to go first?
Yeah, you can go first. You can go first. That's fine.
Man, John Moran, man, you're in the news again, brother, for the wrong reasons. For the viewers that don't know, so the first time he got caught, John Morant, star point guard of the Minnesota or Memphis Grizzlies, um, he got caught with a gun in a club, like on IG Live. That was the first time. And then a couple of days ago, he was with his homeboy, which, FYI, he got kicked out of he got banned from the FedEx Forum Arena. I don't know what he did, probably acting crazy. But the same guy that was in the Instagram Live, he was taking the video, and again, let me backtrack. He was the NBA. He met with league officers. He had that kind of like that. I'll call it fake interview with Jalen Rose, just for the cameras, I guess. That wasn't I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of the gun.
I don't know if it's a fake interview. I would just say
fake, but it was just like I call it fake because he
say
had the gun again.
It was just a safe environment for him. He knew
I guess.
Jalen Rose wasn't going to ask like hard hitting questions necessarily. So he knew it would be a safe environment where he had a message to get out there, and Jalen Rose wouldn't sit there and like counter any of that. So it was a safe environment for him.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, but then he got caught with a gun on his friends' Instagram Live on their bumping NBA YoungBoy, I guess his new album, and in the NBA, like I said on the Monday show on the Chiefs season, I said that he kind of stabbed Adam Silver in the back because obviously he met with him in New York at his office. Was like, hey. I mean, I don't know. We don't know what those conversations were in the office behind closed doors, but I'm pretty sure they were like, Adam Silver's like, "Hey, John, man, you can't be doing this, man. They like it league policy. I don't care if you're off the facility grounds. We don't play with players that we pay big money to have guns. Obviously, yes. If you're a U.S. citizen, you have a right to own a gun. It's part of the Second Amendment, right to bear arms. But when you're getting paid by a private organization in the NFL or in the NBA, you're getting a big paycheck. There's rules you have to follow. I know you can't carry a firearm on a team plane. I don't know if he did that. I know they're investigating that, but like I feel bad. I feel bad for Adam because he kind of gave John Morant a second chance. Yes, he's suspended for like 8 games. He got a chance to play in the playoffs for a little bit, but like then John Morant does this and then has a gun again. He doesn't learn his lesson, and the problem with that is like we talked about like teams who have mentors like LeBron and AD. Like you have the Celtics, Al Horford. You have I would say Marcus Smart, Tatum, Brown. Um, all these teams that have veterans that can teach these young stars how to act. But Memphis doesn't have a veteran leadership. They're all young. I know. I would say Bain is a more level-headed one. Desmond Bain is a more level-headed one. Like I said, Dylan Brooks talks his shit on the court. You don't have a problem with that. But he's out of Memphis, and people are saying he's used as a scapegoat for Ja. But I mean, other than Steven Adams, I don't think that's the only veteran that's on that team that doesn't get to any trouble. And I don't know who was in John's corner. I don't know if his dad's in his corner. I don't know, but I think we can both agree on that. John Morant needs to build another circle of friends, and I know that's hard to do because like obviously you can't trust a new friend. It takes time to gain a friendship, but the homies that you hang with, man.
He can still hang with them. He just has to set boundaries with them.
Right, right.
If they want to go out and do stupid stuff, then he's gonna have to tell them, look, I can't roll with y'all. But
I don't think he can do. I don't think he has the brains to do that. I think he's just like obviously he's young. He wants to party, but it's like we'll party in the office, I guess, or whatever. But I know he's at I think I saw a video. He's at a club like the other night with his homies.
I mean, nobody cared about him being at the club. If you wanted to go to the club, fine. But it's what you do when you get there is what the problem is. And like I said, I don't think he necessarily has to. Well, yeah, he kind of has to change his inner circle. But if he doesn't want to do that, then he has to set boundaries with them or cut them off, which we know for a lot of guys it's tough to do because, those are the guys who are with you when you're coming up as a kid and all that, so you feel that connection with them. But you can't do it to the detriment of your own career. So if they're not behind you to help you, you have to fix that. And also his dad as well. If his dad is part of the bad influence, which I'd hope he isn't, although I would hope that after the first time he would have talked to John, been like, you got away with it this time, but you can't be doing this anymore. Maybe he had that conversation with him and Josh still did it. Then that's a whole other situation where you got to wonder if John Morant will ever understand the responsibility he has as a NBA star. Because, it's one thing if, I don't know, Tyus Jones or something does this, who's a bench guy who's an important part of the team, but not necessarily a household name. He does this probably a day or so after you get like breaking news from ESPN about Grizzlies releasing Tyus Jones and be like, oh, okay, whatever. They're not going to do that with John Morant because he's too important, he's too popular, and they're going to give him every chance they can, probably until he ends up in jail, if that's where this goes. And it's kind of taken out of their hand. Or the league steps in and makes an example out of him to the point where finally it clicks in. But until then, it's all up to John Morant and how he wants to handle this.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the NBA does with the suspension. I know playoffs are going on and all season's coming up, and the Jazz is coming up after the lottery is. Yeah.
Oh, draft
lottery tonight. I think before the Lakers game. I think at 8:00. But I don't have much to say. I mean, Jog, because I said my anger out before, but I still do like him as a player. I mean, I know I'm 24, but to be 25, so I'm kind of like in that age range. But like, I mean, he has to be mature, man. Like, you make all this money, and like you live in the suburbs, man. You have a nice house, nice money coming in. I mean, there's no point of you going to the hood and like you said, Memphis, I think it's open carry. So, I mean, say if he pulls the gun on the wrong person, then his life is over. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just watch your surroundings, man. Like, just build a new inner circle because obviously the circle you have right now is not it. And that should be a warning sign because your friend who posted a video got banned from FedEx Forum anyway. So he can't even go to that arena anymore. So that should be a sign to like, hey, step back, seek some help. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I believe he can pull through it. As like, I'm kind of, it makes me mad that he's kind of like. I mean, I'm jealous of John because I wish I got that money. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyone who wants to play basketball would love to have that money he's making, and I don't want him to throw it away just for having a gun out and maybe popping it on someone because he might do that and he might be drunk or might act a fool. And I'm not saying he's gonna do that, but I mean it could happen, like when he's not aware of what he's doing, So it's all about having the right people in his corner. I mean, I don't know if his dad's kind of in his ear or he has going through some therapy or whatever, but I don't know, man. I believe he has enough time to like get his act together, but this suspicion, whatever Adam Silver hands out on him, is better be like God's warning to like to do better, man. But I mean, we were going to talk about the second round, but this is speed up because it's still about the third round. I know the Eastern Conference Finals I know Celtics beat the 76ers. Lakers beat the Warriors 32 in game six. And then what else? Miami beat the Knicks. Actually, Doc Rivers got fired today from the 76ers job. Now,
there's no way he was keeping his job.
Yeah, but now that holds vacant for a coaching job.
Yep.
So I guess we can go to the third round. Like, what are your? I think I have my notes. So third round matchups. So I guess you can go first. Last couple jotted points. Then I'll need to do like a fun little segue, a fun little thing to end the show called. So like when you say something funny or like you say what? So since the show's called JJL Sports, I said Jay what? So like how like Gene on Wire to Wire does like
you gotta be kidding me. Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me moment. Yeah, kind of like that. So we'll get into that after this. So let me ask you. So I guess we'll take turns. Huh? They're here. Oh. So I might have to go for a little bit. Hold on 1 second. Because my dog's getting her haircut, and they're coming to us like in advance. So how should I do this? Should I just like kind of like mute us, or we'll be back for a little bit, or?
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, depending on how long you'll take, like I can talk while you're gone, and then.
Yeah, talk while I'm gone because I shouldn't take that long. I was gonna meet the girl that's coming in, gonna cut her hair and everything.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, yeah. So I'll be back. Kyle's gonna hold it down for me,
I got you.
And carry it, and then I'll be back in like a couple of minutes.
Yeah, that works. Yeah. So, looking at the NBA, there's a lot of scapegoating and I think misplaced criticism in terms of how these teams are reacting, to their teams being eliminated. So I guess I'll talk Miami and the Knicks really quickly. Miami, this is what they do, which is one of the frustrating things in terms of trying to predict their playoff run. It's like when they're on and they're going, they can play really well, I do think they had the benefit of a Milwaukee team that seems like they are in complete shambles right now between the coach who they fired as well as the personnel that they have not stepping up when needed to. Chris Middleton, guys like that. The Knicks, who, let's be honest, the Knicks were a second round team at best, so they went as far as they could, and Miami luckily got to go up against them. Looking at the other side, you got the Celtics, where they took on the Hawks team first round. Hawks were a playing team, made it out of that, but we knew that the Hawks don't have the firepower to hang with top tier teams in the East. Then the Celtics played the Sixers, who the Sixers did Sixers things. A lot of people put that on Doc Rivers. I would say if you are up 3-2 in a series, you have game 6 on your home floor. The other team, in this case, Jason Tatum, is having a terrible, terrible night. You have to find a way to win that game going away. The fact that the Celtics hung in that game with Tatum scoring 3 points like midway through the third quarter told you all you needed to know about this Sixers team. And then turn around in game 7, Harden and Embiid looked like they didn't want to play. They had completely given up on the series. So once, it was tight in the first half, but then once the Celtics took over, got a double-digit lead, you could tell Harden and Embiid quit. I'm going to say they quit. They checked out mentally. They wasn't ready to go through the battle of winning a Game 7 on the road. The only people who were up for that game were P.J. Tucker and Tyrese Maxey. I give them a lot of credit for that. P.J. Tucker, I give him all the credit in the world. I can make fun of him for not hitting three-pointers, even though he's a 3-and-D guy. In this series, he made his fair share. So they fired Doc Rivers, but now with the Heat and the Celtics, it's a rematch of the bubble Eastern Conference Finals. You guys know I'm a Celtics fan, so I'm hoping it goes the opposite way in this one and the Celtics pull through, but I know the Celtics are like the overwhelming favorite in terms of like online or whatever, but I know it's not going to be easy to beat Miami, even with the talent mismatch that's on paper, but we know you don't win titles on paper, you win them on the court, and they have a really good leader in Jimmy Butler. They have a really good coach, Eric Spoelstra, that can keep you in a lot of games. Western Conference, you have the Nuggets, who probably the most underrated number 1 seed I can remember in recent time, because even though they were the 1 seed in the West, a lot of people thought they could get upset in the first round. Most people thought the Suns would beat them in the second round. They prevailed against both teams. Now they're going to have a I guess, tough conference finals against a Lakers team that, revamped and changed course around the trade deadline, playing better. They made it through the play-in tournament in the Western Conference, beat a Memphis team in the first round that, look, we know the flaws in Memphis, immaturity, maybe coaching not being strong enough for this group, and the Lakers took advantage of that. Second round, Lakers got the Warriors. Warriors, we understand, small team. Lakers have AD. That was an issue for the Warriors. It was going to have to be the Warriors who would have to be able to shoot better. Then AD can control the paint. Didn't happen. Warriors have some questions with Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, whatever their makeup is for next year. I expect to see some changes with the Warriors. So now you have the Lakers and the Nuggets. For the Lakers, the Nuggets will be the toughest test they faced in the playoffs, I believe, because Jokic is the best interior player that they faced. Jokic is a better low post player than Jaren Jackson. He's a better low post player than Kevon Looney or Draymond Green, whoever you want to put in that.
Also, make sure you're not talking shit about my Lakers, man. That's all.
No, I'm just breaking it down.
All right.
So AD, will have a big test against Jokic. So it's going to be whether or not he can step up to that occasion. I also think Denver poses the biggest test because of Jamal Murray, Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. I feel like the Nuggets starting lineup is the best lineup the Lakers will face. So I think that series is going to come down to whose bench probably performs better, and that's going to be on the shoulders of guys like Caldwell Pope, and Lakers. It's like Austin Reeves. So whichever bench controls the series, I think wins the Western Conference. Whereas in the East, I think it's going to come down to Butler versus Tatum. Whoever plays better, I think wins that series. Because I guess the Celtics Heat, you look at it, the Celtics probably, if you were drafting just Heat Celtics players, Butler might be the only guy on Miami you take in your starting lineup because you would take Tatum, you would take Brown, you'd probably take Marcus Smart over Kyle Lowry at this point. Now, if you get to Horford, Adebayo, that's probably preference in terms of what type of player you want. But, like I said, the Heat have, beaten expectations as an 8 seed. In the West, like I said, the Lakers, half of the bracket kind of fell perfectly for them. So now going up against a really good Denver team who's been counted out for a lot of the season, where a lot of people didn't pick them to finish first in the West to begin the season. A lot of people don't think Denver maybe is tough enough for a playoff run. Jokic had his MVP years, but those years ended with second round playoff exits. This is the first time outside the bubble, because the bubble they made the conference finals, but since then, Nuggets haven't made it this far in the playoffs. So I think there's going to be some pressure on Denver, especially them being the 1 seed and the Lakers being the 8 seed. There's pressure there to not lose a conference finals to an 8 seed team, because with Golden State bowing out, Clippers bowing out, the Suns bowing out, a lot of people looking at this as this is a perfect opportunity for Jokic to make the finals. So can they overcome that pressure, play their game, and just see where the series goes? You don't want to have it be like the Sixers where you get to a game 7, you completely do a no-show, and now people are like, clearly your team doesn't have heart. Like, the Nuggets have to be okay with if it goes 7 games, they play 7 really good games and they just lose to the Lakers, you got to live with that. But if you let the pressure cause you to be tight in your game and you lose, then you have to have some questions about the makeup of that group, the coaching that they're getting. So I think the conference finals are going to be interesting. It's a repeat of the bubble year. Only because I made a prediction back in February, Celtics Nuggets. I'm sticking to it, so I'm going to the opposite of the bubble results. Because let's be honest, 2023 has been a weird sports year, so I could see it happening that way. It kind of rolled with everything else that's been going on. But I would say Celtics in 6, Nuggets in 7. I don't think there's any way Lakers Nuggets goes less than 6 games.
But what do you say when I was gone? Did you just go over the
Yeah, I just kind of went through how the 4 teams got there, the teams they beat, and yeah.
Before I get into my predictions, for the matchups, so before I get into what I'm going to say, I know this the 4 teams that are in it are the same teams that are in the bubble, the same matchups, Heat and Celtics, and the East side. On the West, Denver and Lakers, and I just don't. like, okay, I know the pandemic happened. The NBA was at a standstill of what they wanted to do. They didn't really have a concrete idea of what they wanted to do, and Adam Silver kind of came up on the fly, like this bubble situation where, I mean, actually, I've been there before for my cousin's AAU tournament. The Disney Wild World of Sports. It was it's like a campus for like different teams play, and I mean, I know they had the virtual crowds and stuff, and I just don't get why. I know you don't say it, but like, I guess the NBA casuals on Twitter and like Facebook and TikTok say that the Lakers winning the championship was invalid because, or they call it the Mickey Mouse championship, where because it's in Disney. And I can't respect those guys that or people that say that because yes, the Lakers did have a cup. Listen.
I know why they say it. So I'll tell you why they say it after you finish.
Okay. But I guess I get the Lakers had like ample amount of rest, like because we didn't know what they're gonna do. Because I know in Milwaukee that the protests and stuff, and actually the Milwaukee walked off and didn't play that game. So there's a lot going on. So the social injustice, COVID, with that, and I just don't. But when it comes to basketball, I mean, I don't know if you played pickup basketball before. I mean, obviously, it's just you, your buddies. The gym is empty, other than the ball bouncing and just the communication on the court. So that's what it was to me. I think it was, obviously the actual crowd would actually feed in, and obviously there was no home court advantage. So obviously in the playoffs, you want to have that. If you have the best record in the league, you want to have that. Like 2 years on the road or 2 games at home and then going to the road for the next 2. But I get that. But that takes that part out of the game for playoffs. But like, I mean, there was teams that, I mean, it was even playing field. It was just the players. It was just strictly basketball. It was probably one of the hardest. I think the hardest championships any team would have to.
And that's why people have an issue with it. It was not the hardest championship to win. Not at all.
With the pandemic going on and everything going on, you don't think that was the most like?
No, it's not. You got up, left your cush hotel room.
Well, I know that.
Walked down the hall and played basketball. What's tough in that? They played the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. They didn't have to go to Denver to play any games, which is Denver's a tough place to play. So it wasn't the toughest. You could say it's maybe the most unique championship. I could give you that.
I guess most challenging.
No, it wasn't challenging. It was just unique. That's it.
Well, it's like you're just saying this to travel. I get that. You don't have to travel, but I mean
that's a big part of the playoffs. Look what happened. Celtics Sixers. They get to Boston, that crowd's going crazy. Those guys didn't want to play. That's a factor. And I mean, look, that's why people called it Mickey Mouse or whatever, because the LeBron, the Laker fans, the minute they wanted to throw it in everybody's face. Toughest championship ever. Best title ever won and all this kind of stuff. It's like, no, they won a title. That's it. We can move on. So that's where the opposite side came in. And how do I know? Because I'm one of them. I knew that was the minute that happened, I knew it was going to happen. I think it was like the very next day. I think Jay Williams said it. And I'm like, bruh, you are an analyst on TV and you really think that? No title is easy. No title's tougher than the other. It's just tough to win, period. So this one cannot be the toughest one. And I understand, and I already know this as well. If the Lakers win it this year, they'll probably rerun that narrative and be like, oh, this is the toughest one ever. They were an 8 seed. No, it's just a title that they won. That's it. That's all it is. And yeah, so that's where that narrative came from, Mickey Mouse Championship. And to be honest with you, somebody had to slow down that narrative of being the toughest ever. So that's what they came up with. It's just unique situation.
Yeah.
That's it.
I guess, man.
Plus, wait, I just thought of something else. The fact that outside of, well, no, because this year both LeBron and AD dealt with injuries. That year with the break gave those two the chance to make it the full year, and then they won it all. So that's another reason why I wouldn't say it was the toughest either. Because we don't know if they played through the regular schedule. AD LeBron could have broken down. Lakers could have missed the playoffs. Who knows? So that's another aspect that can't make it the toughest either. So I just call it a unique championship because when you look down in history and you'll be like 20, what year was that? 2020 or whatever. People will just be like, oh yeah, the pandemic, the NBA bubble. That's that title. I get it. Okay. That's it.
Okay. So I guess we can, since both our teams are in the, well, my team's in the West, your team's in the East. You're playing the Heat. So I guess you can go first. Keys to victory, or like what keys of victory do you have for overcoming the Miami Heat? Like what do you think that are most like crucial for your team to to advance to the finals?
I think it's just as simple as just play your game. Speed up Miami. Miami doesn't want to run because outside of Jimmy Butler, not a lot of depth there. So they have to conserve Jimmy Butler's energy as much as they can. So it's not even necessarily like running all game, but every once in a while, push the pace, give Miami something different because we know Miami's going to play zone. They'll play man. They'll, try to get foul calls, slow the game down. Just stay out of that. Keep the pace, ball movement, and I think the Celtics will be fine.
I think the keys to victory for Lakers is obviously like the bread and butter against the Warriors are getting out early in transition, with the rebounding, getting out on the front court early. Obviously move the ball around. I think the X factor for Lakers is probably going to be Austin Reeves. And I think the X factor for Denver is going to be Michael Porter Jr. Because obviously you're going to know. Because obviously you know what you're going to get out of Michael Porter Jr. and Murray. It's about, can Porter stay consistent with his shot and kind of like feed off of Jokic, and can Austin Reeves feed off of LeBron and AD, like he did in games 5 and 6. So it's going to be a battle of the bigs. I think we can also say the Joker is the most skilled big who can but obviously AD was a point guard, so he's skilled too. But as far as he can as far as of a big man like that, he can pass the ball and do point guard passes as a big man. He's a little more skilled than AD, but AD is a more quicker. Because Joker down the court is kind of slow. Kind of reminds me of like a Looney when it come down the court, kind of slow, but he does do those quarterback Hail Mary passes to get the fast break going. And kind of the key, the role players too. Can Roy Hachimura get hot? Can Vanderbilt kind of do what he did against Steph Curry in game 1 and 2, kind of follow him around
Vanderbilt
follow Murray?
Didn't play a lot against Golden State though.
He played a big role in game 1 about kind of stopping Steph Curry.
That series went 7 games in. I don't remember Vanderbilt much. I mean, yes, 6 games. Sorry, I don't remember Vanderbilt.
Well, you wanted to go 7 games.
It's not my team. I don't care. It was just a prediction I had. But so Vanderbilt didn't play past game 1. Is he out of Ham's rotation? Or what?
We'll find out tonight. I don't know what his goals are with Vanderbilt, but obviously he can. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. We're gonna have to watch tonight, see what happens. But I think the keys to victory. I mean, I think that for us is just to kind of go to the series like we did against the Warriors, kind of like play smart, get AD involved more in the offense. LeBron does his thing. D'Lo's got to have big games, and I think it's going to be Lakers in 6. I think Vegas and the bettors want a Lakers and Celtics series. I don't think they want a Denver versus. Well, maybe they do. Top seeds in East Conference, maybe Denver and Celtics, but
Yeah, I think the only team they don't want to see is Miami.
for Denver,
No, I think the Vegas and all that. I think the only team that they really don't want to see in the finals is probably Miami. Miami would be their 4th choice. They could care less if it's Celtics Nuggets or Celtics Lakers, because either way you'd get good matchups.
yeah, I think it's going to be. Lakers in 6. I think the Lakers win it tonight. Then Denver wins it, the game 2. It's going to be the same thing it is in Warriors. I think it's going to go like flip flop. I think it's going to be Lakers could win two home games. But I don't know. I see Lakers stealing one in Denver, even though it's going to be hard because like you're in that thick air. That could be an issue. We'll see how with the air in Colorado. So we'll see how that factors in on the players and the rest of stuff in between, be on the bench and then
Can't wait to hear that all broadcast.
I mean, I have not been to Denver, but I heard that the Mile High City, that the air is
it's
crazy.
It's
elevation.
thin. The air gets thin.
I wonder how that feels though, like because in Jersey, like the air is even, but I wonder how it feels in Denver. It's kind of like you feel like you're gonna like suffocate the air. Like I don't know.
No, you just have to train your breathing a little differently because you won't necessarily collect as much air with each breath, so you kind of breathe a little differently. But once your body gets used to it, it's fine. The only thing is you have 2 games, then you're back to LA, then your body gets used to LA, then you're back in Denver, trying to get used to Denver. So that's the only challenge.
Yeah, we'll definitely see that. Like, that's a good point. We'll definitely see that. Like, well, now it's
I honestly don't think it should be that big of a deal for Game 1 because.
Well, no, not Game 1.
I'm assuming the Lakers went out there a couple of days before, so they should be fine.
Well, I'm saying later on in the series, we'll see how it determines all the play. I'm not. Yeah, Game 1, the Game 2 might not be big of a deal, but we'll see how if how players adjust later in the series. But yeah, I think I'm picking Lakers in 6, and then I'm picking Celtics. And
the viewers knew you were picking the Lakers. You're not going to pick against them now.
No,
only thing I'll say is I don't know if Memphis and Golden State necessarily prepared the Lakers for Denver. That would be a worry made for Game 1 or 2 because.
A lot of people were saying Warriors in 7, Warriors in 6, Warriors.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the play style,
the Curry and stuff, so
play style wouldn't have gotten them ready for Denver. Memphis had their own internal issues. Golden State.
You give respect to Lakers and going to Game 7, like you're gonna go that deep. You give them because in Game 7, then Lakers can win in the Game 7. I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah. A lot of times I give Game 7s to the home team, but no, I feel like once you get to the Western conference finals, those series shouldn't be sweeps or 5-game series. They should be at least 6 games.
Go the distance.
And I just have this one going 7.
To Denver, right?
Yeah, because like I said, that was the prediction I made in February, and I'm sticking
you don't have faith in LeBron and AD?
I just said sticking with it from February. I'm not backing off of it. I do think Denver is a big threat.
It's definitely a big challenge for us. Definitely.
Yeah. Because if you look at the Warriors series, you could say the biggest factor was Klay Thompson couldn't hit anything. If Klay Thompson shot like people knew him to shoot, different series.
I agree.
With Memphis,
if
Memphis
was
mature.
better than And Poole played better.
Right. If Poole played better, different series. Memphis had any maturity, they probably should have done better in that series. I don't know if they necessarily win it, but they should have performed better. With Denver, I think because Jokic, for as slow and unathletic he is, he's still the best post player that AD is going to go against. Like, Jokic has legit post moves. Jaren Jackson doesn't have any post moves. Looney, you're not throwing it down to him and telling him to do work because he doesn't know what to do. Jokic will know. And then when LeBron or Schroeder come down the double team, Jokic will make the right pass out of it. Mm-hmm. And I probably would have more faith in Murray or Porter Jr. knocking down a three from out of the post than what turned out with Clay and Jordan Poole. The X factor might be, because I have a feeling what the Lakers will do, they might try to force Aaron Gordon to shoot from the perimeter, although Aaron Gordon isn't like Dylan Brooks, where if he's just open out there, he's just going to jack it up because he doesn't necessarily do that. If Aaron Gordon's in a groove, yeah, he'll take a three or two, but that's what I think the difference will be, because I say it every round. The Lakers' strength is interior defense. Perimeter defense, you can score out there if the right guy's taking the shot and it's within the flow of your offense. And I think Denver, out of the three teams that the Lakers will face, are better at doing that. But you're muted.
Yeah, that's fair to say. That's fair to say. I just think that Lakers. I think they're going to take game one, and then Denver going to take game two in Denver, and then we'll go to LA. I think they're going to split games, and then Lakers is going to take hold in Denver in game 5 and then in 6.
I mean, that's possible. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say like I don't see a way for the Lakers to win the series, because I could very easily see them winning it. I just feel like I said, as weird of a year it's been, and for all the questions against Denver, and the fact that it seems like everybody now is going Lakers to get to the finals, I could see the Nuggets getting through. For the Heat, I can even see the Heat doing it, because look, the Heat.
It could be a Miami Heat here, like the bubble finals. It could be that. It could be.
But I think the Celtics team is better than last year, so I think Miami can't necessarily do what they did last year against the Celtics.
I mean, they did say that when Miami faced the Bucks, and look back to the Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks had their own issues. Giannis missed a couple of games. Middleton still isn't right. Obviously, coaching was an issue because they fired him. Celtics don't have those issues. The way Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are going right now, good luck, Miami. The way Marcus Smart's going, Marcus Smart, Kyle Lowry, there's going to be something there during this series, because Kyle Lowry likes to flop around. Smart can do the same. Those two are going to bump heads at some point. He and Jimmy Butler might bump heads. But I just think Tatum, especially after how bad of a game 6 he had against Philly, I think he's just ready to prove it to people. Because a lot of people were questioning him as a superstar after game 6. He showed them in game 7 he's that guy. So, and Jaylen Brown kind of gets disrespected by people. Seems like he's always having to prove himself to be a top tier player. I think that's working in both of their favors. And those guys want to win one for Al Horford so bad, because he's just the pro's pro.
So you have Denver and Celtics in the finals. For you, just your early prediction. And then mine is Lakers and Celtics in the finals. I think that's gonna be the final matchup. Now, this is what I'm going to close up the show. I mean, I don't know if you have anything looked up yet for this segment, but Jay, what? So I had this
I'm sure
one.
come
I
with
mean,
something.
I had the Kawhi Leonard back in the day quote where nobody heard his laugh. He was up there with
Oh yeah.
Majuri, the owner, and he said, and I quote, "I'm a fun guy. Obviously, I love the game of basketball. I mean, there's more questions you have to ask me in order for me to tell you about myself." Jay,
Mhm.
what? Like, what are you trying to say, brother? Oh man.
I just think Kawhi Leonard's probably just a different guy. I can imagine if you spent a weekend with Kawhi Leonard, it might be the most random stuff you'd find yourself doing. Like I don't know, like because if you look at Kawhi Leonard, you probably don't think he's like a gamer. He doesn't really come across that way. Like I don't know. I just wouldn't know what Kawhi Leonard does normal course of a day. Like if he came out and said, "Oh, I play Fortnite for 12 hours a day," I'd probably be like, "What?" Then I'd be like, I guess I could see it. Or he could be like, "I race ATVs or something," and he'd be like, "Okay, I guess." He's an interesting guy, but yeah, that was kind of wild, that whole moment.
um, yeah. If you have one, we can just like alternate like different
I mean,
funny
for me,
things.
it starts with Joel Embiid. His after Game 7, where he, I think his message was like, the team around him needs to be better. Then he kind of caught himself, was like, I need to be better. But the fact that he passed it off on his teammates when he didn't show up in Game 7, I thought was laughable. And he's kind of getting ripped for it, today and yesterday for that comment. But and then he tried to double down on the Giannis quote as well, because he threw that in there too about it being a process. At this point, Joel Embiid can no longer say those two words, the process. Because since Joel Embiid's been in Philly, it's been a process. It's now been like what? How long has Embiid been in the league? Like 10 years or something? They're nowhere closer than where they were when they first got him. So whatever that process was, Philly needs to crumple that paper up, throw it in the trash, and find something else. So that was definitely one of mine. I thought that was hilarious when he said it.
I'm trying to find some other ones, man. Like, I know this is like a new segment, so I was kind of on the fly, kind of
No, I
find some
got you.
things.
Have you seen the Tatum and Kevin Hart exchange? Which
No.
I knew nothing about it, but Kevin Hart's a big Sixers fan, so I guess he kind of sent a video to Tatum about his Sixers going to beat him. After Game 7, they were interviewing Tatum, and Tatum was like, "Yeah, I tried calling Kevin, but he wouldn't answer." So later in the day, Kevin Hart did a TikTok or something where he responded to Tatum, was like, "All right, you won, whatever. I can't stand you, but we're friends or whatever." He like poured a shot out. He took a drink, and he's like, "Yeah, congratulations. Hope you get whooped in the next round, but whatever." I thought it was interesting
Jay,
that those.
what?
It's just like
Yeah.
I did not know that those two had a little back and forth,
No,
because
really?
I mean they both have their cities that they represent. So actually, I don't remember seeing Kevin Hart at any of the games. I don't know if he was at any of them.
Oh, he's probably small, man. You can't see him. Maybe he tried to
Well,
get on the stage.
usually when they're doing well, he's like front row, and
That's true.
he's there. I don't remember seeing him. So
Yeah, I mean, I think next week we'll do a better job with this. I mean, this is a new segment. I gotta do more research on funny things people say. But it's kind of like a
I
new
remember a
segment.
lot of people saying funny stuff this week.
I mean,
Oh wait,
it
there
wouldn't
was
have to be
another
like
one though.
what would have to be like it could be like anything, like any funny thing. Like
I got
I was gonna say,
because when you first did it, I thought you meant like this week. That's what I was trying to think.
well, like
More
it
of
can
this
be
week.
recently, it can be older. Like I was gonna do the Cam Thomas one where he said, "Oh, we got a lot of good looking men on here." Like Jay, what? And then he said no homo, but then he had a lot of. I know, kind of like he got fined for it, but I'm pretty sure he meant they got a lot. I don't know, man. That was pretty funny. And then I think Dennis Schroeder saw it and he said pause, so he got away with it. He was like, he said something about.
Yeah, I guess.
Schroeder's funny, man.
He's.
He
has his moments.
I didn't know he was German, man. I know he was German, but like he sounds funny. He's like, what?
Well,
like sometimes when the camera picks up his audio and shit, like he's like, what? That's not a song?
Well, the only thing is, like, you have to realize there's a lot of African influence to a lot of European countries. Like Giannis is Greek, but he grew up in Africa as well.
Yeah.
So I think Schroeder's parents, at least one of them, I think was African, went up there, met. So, yeah, the German thing. I think that was kind of the reason for the little blonde thing in his hair. I think it was supposed to be like the German gold color or something. But
yeah. So you say you get another one?
Well, this one is kind of on the other end of it because the Red Sox were playing on ESPN, I think last night or the night before. And for some reason during the game, because their new thing is like they put microphones on players in the field or whatever, which I think is a really cool thing that they're doing. But if you're going to do that, you got to ask better questions. So basically the ESPN person asked Tristan Casas, who's their first baseman, like about his dead mother. I'm like, during a game you're going to ask him this?
Say it, Kyle. Jay, what?
That's more than a Jay what. That's like, bro, you need to turn your microphone off and walk out the booth. Like, I was in the middle of the game.
Wait. So, like, what was the question? Like, what was?
I'll pull it up here. Oh yeah, it was Carl Ravitch, who was like the lead guy in the ESPN booth. So the story is like Costas lost his mom when he was 9 years old, and with it being around Mother's Day, I guess that's where Carl was going. So he was like, he's like, I know your mom passed away when you were young, and so what does Mother's Day mean to you and your brother? You're asking me that while I'm playing a game? For what reason?
So what did he say?
I don't even know what he said. Okay, so he was like, yeah, what happened was obviously unfortunate for me, but I've had so many mother figures in my life, whether they have my last name or whether they don't. I have so much support from everyone in and around my circle that I don't even feel like I missed out on anything. I know she's watching me every day. I know she's smiling, proud of me, but for the most part, I think I've been all right. Which his answer was a great answer.
Yeah,
I just don't understand why you asked that. You could like wait till after the game if you want to throw that.
Oh, so he asked that during the game, like when
he's literally standing at first base waiting for the pitch and everything, and that's the question that gets asked to him. Because even while he was answering it, like his voice cracked a little because he's like literally playing, trying to react and all that. So, like, I get the question, just the timing was terrible. Do that before the game or after the game, not while the guy is on the field. So Carl Ravitch, like, I guess Jay, what? There you go.
Man, see, this gonna be funny, man. We're gonna have like every show we're gonna have toward the end. We're gonna have like certain quotes, and it doesn't have to be old. I mean, they can be old. It can be older. Like I was looking at this before we get off. I was looking at different. And this is like old, like back in the day. But like Larry Bird made a quote. He was like, "As far as playing, I didn't care who guarded me, red, yellow, black. I just didn't want a white guy guarding me because it's disrespecting my game. Yep. I really don't like talking about money. All I can say is that the good Lord must have wanted me to have it." To Xavier McDaniel.
Larry Bird was like,
I'm going to make a shot right here in your face. After he makes a shot, shit, I didn't even mean to have leaving time on the clock. What's better, dogs or broomsticks? I mean, will the world ever really know? Yo,
Larry Bird was a really good trash talker. There's like a couple of YouTube compilation videos about his trash talk. some of the stuff he said it was wild to people. But yeah, the whole thing about being guarded by white people.
Then
Charles Barkley talks about that story. I think Charles Barkley I think it was against his Sixers team where he said that. And Barkley was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You gonna put a white guy on me? That's disrespectful to me." And Barkley said he laughed about it, but that's the kind of stuff Larry Bird said while he was playing.
I'm not sorry who Jordan was talking to, but I remember he led the free throw line. And he was like, "Man, I'm gonna shoot a ball with my eyes closed, or a free throw with my eyes
Mutombo.
closed." Oh, you talked to Mutombo?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna shoot it with my eyes closed." Boom, 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 boom. I
believe it was Mutombo, because I know the story was Mutombo used to get on Jordan because he never dunked on him, and Jordan would be like, "I never dunked on you, really?" And then later in his career, he ended up dunking on him, and that's when he did the finger wag in his face as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like every week or every episode, we're gonna have a little fun little segment to wrap up the show. Called Jay What? I want to get like audio of before we go like Jay What? Like I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to put that in there, but
I mean, you could probably record your own audio for it and just play it, I guess.
Right. But yeah, man, I think that we'll end the show. I know me, you're going to be on the Big Three podcast tonight. Check that out on the Sports Empire Network. I know I hit up Con Man. I know he wants to be on the next show with us. I asked him if he wanted to be on today's show, but I guess he replied a little bit late. But he asked me if I'm available tomorrow. But actually, we can maybe do an episode tomorrow too. Like maybe he has a lot of basketball stories to tell us. So maybe we can have a little extra side episode tomorrow, because he asked me if I'm available tomorrow. So I'm not sure. Do you have any other shows on Wednesday, or you go back on Thursday?
I don't think I have anything tomorrow, but I'll let you know.
Yeah. If you're free, we can hop on with Con Man. I know he said he's been dying to watch get on the show. He's been messaging me, so we can have him on, and the viewers can experience the Con Man.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably set that up for tomorrow, a little side episode. Let's talk about basketball. He's a basketball minded player. Yeah, so we'll get that going. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts before we head out?
No, not really. Just want to see where these conference finals goes. I'm glad they start tonight. So now we have every other night conference final game. So got nothing else to say.
Is it gonna be like that for the finals too? Like every other game? Or is it like
final schedule? I think there's a couple of days where they get like an extra day off for the finals, but for the most part, it'll be like every other night.
Every other night, so they can, or whoever will play, and then they will play in the conference. Okay. All right. Well, I'm Jordan Jean-Louis. I'm the host of the JJL Sports Talk Show. I got my boy, my co-host Kyle Edwards, man. Yeah, we'll be back with we'll be back tomorrow with a comment. All right. So thanks for tuning in, and we are out.
Yep. See you.